Yeah. Now live. I was muted because I was telling a story that probably wasn't best for everyone to hear. See what you miss when you're not here on Saturday morning? You miss all the gossip, the juice, the good. Yeah. So I would encourage, and you missed that Nespresso coffee or the tea or that, look at this. Yes, we did have it down, so I can't see quite everyone. I'm sorry. We did have this as a possible retreat day. It was down in that. So if anybody looked at the website, which is just delightful, you might have seen this date, and we went flying by that, didn't want to do it, wasn't right. And we've been trying to navigate some space and time with Quest Haven that was our priority. And it wasn't going easily, and there were not a lot of options. And so we have now gotten Pete to agree that he could offer the day before Easter. But I want to talk about that. Of course, understanding that that doesn't mean, that's not a holiday or religious event that means anything necessarily, but it's a weekend when kids are also off school and people are traveling because there's off school time. So I want to look at that. So if anybody has interest in that date, March 30th. Is that right? Would that be the Saturday?
After that,
I'll tell you.
no, Easter is March 30th.
Yeah, March
Sunday.
31st.
March 30th.
It's one of the earliest Easters. And so if anybody could do it, wants to do it, is interested in do it, just let me know. That would be at Pete's Geodome. Beautiful, of course, amazing space. Just give me some feedback, will you? Because we're going to be deciding. We have not decided on that. And I love the dome, and I love all that's there. Pete and Lisa have worked very, very hard to create that beautiful space. So we'll see what happens. The retreat. Spring retreat, since we're naming dates. So then I will be in retreat personally. Now I've kind of got it. I'm here, I'm there. I'm kind of feeling more excited about it now. Sometime from April 18th to May 11th. And we're going to have spring retreat. Our Encinitas Mindfulness Spring Retreat will be May 9th, which I think is a Thursday. My also anniversary and birthday, and my goddaughter's birthday as well. May 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Is that Mother's Day?
12th is Mother's Day. Yes. 9th, 10th, and 11th. So if you know you're going to be gone for the weekend for Mother's Day, come on Thursday or Friday. Yes, it is residential. You can sleep overnight there at Quest Haven. It's very lovely. There's little dorms. The cabins are gone. So we are no longer staying in the cabins. Those are no longer available. They've rented them out. And a 2-night minimum in the dorm. So that would be Thursday, Friday. So if you want to be in the dorm, otherwise you could come simply as a commuter. You could come from 9 in the morning till 5 or later. And we're working on costs and pricing, but I think there's what was our, did we have a $50 day rate for the day retreat?
Where are the dorms?
The dorms are up on Birdsong Lane, up towards the labyrinth.
Okay.
Very
I
flat,
was thinking those were.
flat building. Cabins are spread out, the cottages, and are no longer available. Not even now always for the facilitators, teachers. And I understand Quest Haven's need, as we all do, to adapt during both that time of COVID and now given their need to propagate, be well, and survive for their community. So we were struggling a little to get conversation with them. And I was a little worried. I want to say my own heart was like, uh-oh, we're somehow our relationship has we've done something or there's been a problem. And actually what I'm clear about now, it was Danielle's not wanting to tell me that she didn't have space. And I know that. Don't we all understand that feeling of like, I don't want to say this. I don't want to say it's true. Maybe something will come up and we won't have to talk about this. But we chased her a while and then I realized what it really was. She didn't want to say, we can't do this in April. And we've worked it out. So you'll be getting a schedule soon of all the places I'll be sitting for this retreat. Sometime we'll be at Pete's, sometime we'll be up north, sometime we'll be at Quest Haven. And then we'll talk about what are the options for you just to come sit with me silently during the day from 9 to 11:30 and 2 to 4:30 so that you can support me and I can support you in these practices. So just know I'm looking forward to that. I have not done a long retreat. Long retreats are anything over 21 days. I haven't done a 30-day retreat. It was in 2013. And then I walked the Camino in 2014 for several weeks, and I have not done a long retreat since. And that was right practice, right, correct practice. My father was here. He was not well. Then my husband's father was here, and caretaking was the practice and the priority. So, right, all right things, all right timing. And now we just have an opportunity with a little space for this practice. So, not be in town, I'm just getting some feedback. Okay, thank you. So today we're going to be talking about peace. And we're going to be using Thich Nhat Hanh's beautiful, deeply, deeply beautiful understanding of peace. And the way he begins talking about peace, probably the way to begin talking about peace is the reality, let's just drop in on this, that we do not recognize the peace that is always available. That's his first statement. That we do not recognize, and then we do not abide. We don't drop into it. We don't rest in it. We don't open and sustain it. We forget about it in the world. We forget about it in ourselves. And then we forget about it in others. Why? Because we all want this so badly. What happens for you that we forget?
For me, I just go back into my regular old loop.
Habit mind, busy mind, distracted mind, got to get it done mind. Science says task positive network mind. Once we light that pilot on task centered positive network, first thing that the eyes flutter in the morning, what's going to happen is you have ignited the rocket, if you could think of it that way. And now unhooking from task positive network is actually big work, not small. You've sent the rocket off and then you went, no, wait a minute, right? Let's call it back. Not so easy, not for long, right? And then we're scrambling, aren't we all day? Where do I find the space? Where do I find? Well, it was everywhere, always, including in you. And that's his first statement. Peace is every breath. Has anybody seen the title of his book? Peace is every breath. Not because we're making it, but because it's already here, right? So we're going to do a little practice today. and see if we can't make contact with what's already at ease, what's already peaceful, what's already, you didn't do anything. You just opened, awakened to it, and then can, by virtue of that, propagate it, right? Because the peace that's here becomes the peace that's you, which becomes the peace you, as Thai says, peace is then every breath and every step, right? Then we take it not only into just what we're cultivating breath by breath, we actually walk it, don't we? We talk it, we exude, we it, right? Makes sense to everybody? Yeah. And yes, it's true. Where is it? What? Because it's not going on here. And that's not true either. It is here, but we have to then, the first instruction then of the Buddha himself was incline the mind. This is the first instruction. Incline the mind towards the good. The good being peace, ease, connectedness, joy, love, right? You can feel this. Incline the mind, said the Buddha, the first neuroscientist, towards the good. First thing in awakening, that means eye flutters for me. I don't even know what day it is yet, right? Because that's task positive network, folks. What day, what time, who am I, where am I going, what do I got to do? Get that phone, check that schedule, get those, right, make the plan. Incline the mind first thing in the morning towards the good. Where would you go? Where would your mind go? Thank you, Dennis. Where would it go? To the breath is a possibility. I am awake. I am alive. Where else might it go? She goes to sound because the breath is not always right object, right? I can't do that. I'm struggling, right, with the breath. Not right, not best. Opening just to include the spaciousness and then that sound, which is simply arising. We're going to listen to morning sounds today. Some will like and some we won't. But peace in every sound. Where else? The body, right? Alive, fresh, new, just arriving, just dropping in. I could drop into the body. Carrie said, my friend can't go to the breath. There are some people then who couldn't go to the body. Why? Too much distress, trauma centered in the body. Maybe not best in the body then. These are just possibilities, right? But you heard me say something a moment ago about right practice. I trust your wisdom, right? I trust you. How about the heart? How would you open to the heart first thing in the morning? How might you do that?
A lot of times I have to slow it down.
Yep.
a little bit, which-
Yep. We could take the palm of the hand filled with nerve endings and invite contact with the physical. Maybe Robin just said, I need a little regulation first thing because I wake up, as some people can, particularly with anxiety, right? Anxiety actually is happening before people wake up. They wake up into it like, right? Regulating. We can regulate with touch. We can regulate with the breath. We can regulate with imagery, right? Look at all the possibilities there. We could make contact with the heart. The physical heart is not always best. It can be activating, by the way, for many people. Again, people with anxiety, not best. Now, maybe the subtle, emotional, loving heart, maybe that peaceful embrace of the heart, but we'd have to cultivate that, wouldn't we? might not just necessarily be there. That would be a practice over time, right? We get the idea. So here's one of the first instructions: incline the mind towards the good and then sustain that mind. How long is sustaining?
Does it have to be something that you're, like, I know what it is about my thoughts, like for me.
Me too.
But like when he's right there, and I just wake up, and I wake up every day with,
Da, 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 da.
4 feet on the freeway.
Yeah.
And so then I just kind of reach over and feel his heartbeat,
Yes.
and it just centers me right. I don't know what it is, but it's,
Yes.
I don't know. Helps
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yes. We can use anything
I
to
mean,
begin
obviously,
that can contribute, right? Incline the mind towards the good. Because if you're touching the dog, something's happening for your heart mind.
Right.
And that's what we're looking to cultivate. Now, the truth is, we won't always have a dog. We won't always have, right, the beautiful flower. We won't always have, right? But we begin the day inclining the mind towards the good with whatever conducive supports we might have. I know some people have an alarm that is a series of gongs, right? Insight Timer's one, there are others, right? They just wake up to that and rest in that arising, passing sound. If you didn't have a dog, I want you to think about what you're going to do. Because if you're not doing it, you're sending the rocket off first thing in the morning, and you're now going to chase it throughout the rest of the day. Why? We know that the first 3 intentioned thoughts set the mind on a path. Right? And I've had some pretty nasty first thoughts. Pretty murderous, pretty, right? And then you have sent that off in a direction. It isn't just the momentum any longer. It is not just the velocity. It isn't just the power. You have actually elected, intended now, or unattending a path that you're going to have to work yourself from for the whole of the day. Right? You get what I'm saying? It isn't just that it went. It isn't that it went in a direction. It is that that direction is actually a path that you are going to have to work with, resist, struggle with the whole of the day. And so why not then wake up with those first breaths? Wouldn't that be wise? Cultivating what we know, peace. I asked, how long do you think you have to sustain attention to soak in the good? We're going to talk about peace today. How long? 10 breaths? Might be. Be close, possibly. Any other guesses? 15 to 20 seconds, which could be 10 breaths, by the way, would be somewhere, right? Yeah. 15 to 20 seconds of soaking in the good to propagate the path, right? Setting our mind, inclining it, not just touching the good, but now what? Soaking, immersing. Other words, you get this idea? Yeah.
When you would use a positive affirmation, or is that too external?
They see that as being thinking.
Yeah, so too external.
Rather than sense door oriented, body oriented, felt sense oriented. I would say it's better than not doing it, wouldn't you? A positive affirmation. Except what we actually know about them when we do the research on affirmations is it is actually that you are not feeling that. You are hoping, wishing, praying that you did. And so it's not real, it's wished for. Right? And it moves you into task positive network. Because now I got to make that happen, called be peaceful. Right? You get what I'm saying about positive affirmation? We actually know this, right? It goes into the thinking side of the mind, not the experiencing. Where is peace in me is a more legitimate inquiry. Where is peace abiding? Where can I abide this mind in peace? If you can say it and be it, invoke it, but not go, I should be, why can't I be? If I say it enough, maybe I will be, is not useful. Because now we're in the, and guess what happens when you say, don't look at the pink elephant? All you see. So unfortunately, positive affirmations are frequently elected to counter or be antidote to an existing distressing trait. What do we do with that? Before we start, what do we do with distressing realities when we touch them?
Honor them.
Honor them, hold them, open to them, allow space for them, create embrace, room, warmth for the very experience, which is actually the antidote to having them propagate. People are afraid of this, though, aren't they? They go, I don't want to go turn towards that. That's a monster. If I go to that thing, it's going to eat me. Actually, it's not true. It's the not going, we know for sure, that propagates it. This is hard news, because what are we saying? Turn towards the blade for peace. What? That wasn't the message I wanted to do, right? Turn towards and hold, cultivate, right? Abide, sustain, right? And the teaching says this is the path, that very practice, to the end of distress, to the end of suffering. And that which we resist persists. Now, that doesn't mean you have to jump off a cliff, right, into the snake pit, but it does mean you have to hold yourself at the precipice. You get the difference? You don't necessarily have to jump into the snake pit, because I don't have the arms for that yet. I don't have the resources yet. I don't have the skill yet. But can I hold myself in the truth of this is scary, this is hard, this is right, and just be with this is the practice. And then the reason we repeat, invoke, recite, we think of some other words, every day, that is what prayer was, right? That is what mantra, that is what mudra, right? All of these, from all these traditions, right? Every day, right? You say this. Every day you invite this. Every day, every day. Why? So that when you're at the precipice, what naturally arises is what? That goodness, that ease, that confidence, that being held and holding, right? Repetition itself, we know. Do you have to believe it? No, so handy. You don't know. Just the repetition itself over time. These are the concentration practices. Resting here. Nope. Resting here. Nope. Resting here. Not yet. Resting here. I don't want to. Resting here. I got other stuff to do. Resting here actually is the training, isn't it? Even when you're going, this is not working out that well for me. I'm everywhere but here. This is, in fact, the practice. And then here again, and then here again, and unconditionally friendly, and then here again. And this invites that peace, right? Peace, and then peace. The first feeling I work for every morning is connection, love, openness, right? Something like that. I don't think the word, I do that a few breaths later, but I'm always resting in the truth that that is the marker for my day. Connection, openness, love. I don't say the words, I just open. I have that practice. And then every day is a very good day, isn't it? Every day, because what's possible every day, that peace, love, connection, right? And then the conditions are what we call the worldly winds, right? Going left, going right, the thising and the thating, things we like and things we don't like, all. Right, there we go. Yeah, okay. I think we're getting the idea. Let me read this in chat and then we'll start with the practice. Thank you, Carrie, for putting that up. So I'm going to go and see if I can't locate this poem by Thich. It's one of his most famous. Let's see if we can find that.
Say tired, you talking.
Thich Nhat Hanh's endearing name. Thich means teacher,
Thank you.
and he was known as that lovingly. And Thich means teacher, not just for him. It's what it means. That's not quite the right one, but I'm going to try one more time. Here it is. I don't know if you all can see it. Maybe not yet, Carrie. I'm going to give it one more try before I quit. So this poem, if somebody was going to guess, some people have been in this Sangha a very long time. What poem would anybody remember which poem might be Thai's most famous? Any recollections? We haven't read it in a while. So please call me by my true names. Please call me by my true names. He wrote this during the Vietnam War. And for those of you who don't know Thich Nhat Hanh, he was a Vietnamese Zen monk from the Vietnam area who was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize by Martin Luther King. And Martin Luther King and Thich became very, very dear friends because they were fighting for the same peace. One here and one there. He did not get that Nobel Prize because politically he couldn't. We were not in a time to be talking about peace because we were at war. And then like, ooh, right? Peace. How do you do that when we're fighting that? And we were part of that. So I'm just going to read it. You're just going to rest. And then we're going to sit. And we're going to begin with a different kind of practice. So here it is. Please call me by my true names. It makes me cry every time. Don't say that I will depart tomorrow. Even today, I am still arriving. Look deeply. Every second I am arriving to be a bud on a spring branch, to be a tiny bird with still fragile wings, learning to sing in my new nest, to be a caterpillar in the heart of a flower, to be a jewel hiding itself in a stone. I still arrive in order to laugh and to cry, to fear and to hope. The rhythm of my heart is the birth and death of all that is alive. I am the mayfly metamorphosing on the surface of the river. And I am the bird that swoops down to swallow the mayfly. I am the frog swimming happily in the clear water of a pond. And I am the grass snake that silently feeds itself on the frog. I am the child in Uganda, all skin and bones. My legs as thin as bamboo shoots. And I am the arms merchant selling deadly weapons in Uganda. I'm the 12-year-old girl, refugee in a small boat, who throws herself into the ocean after being raped by a sea pirate. And I am the pirate, my heart not yet capable of seeing and loving. I am a member of the Politburo with plenty of power in my hands, and I'm the man who has to pay his debt of blood to my people, dying slowly in a forced labor camp. My joy is like spring, so warm it makes flowers bloom all over the earth. My pain is like a river of tears, so vast it fills the four oceans. Please call me by my true names, so I can hear all my cries and my laughter at once, so I can see that my joy and pain are one. Please call me by my true names, so I can wake up, and so the door of my heart can be left open, the door of compassion. Please call me by my true names. And so preparing to sit, we rest in that trembling heart. We don't turn away. We don't distract. We don't look for another feeling or another moment. We don't wipe the tear before we allow it. And then we create space and room and warmth for us all. And so we're just resting in this sense of vast open space on a Saturday morning. Our hearts now wide open as the world. Peace is every breath. it isn't by looking for some other feeling, some other moment, or some other heart. It's in fact by opening, exactly as Thai suggests, to the whole truth. The truth of our tenderness, our vulnerability, and the truth of our reactivity, our pain, our anger, our distress, our hatred. Peace is every breath. And so we incline the mind, just as we have discussed, towards the body, if that's right for you. And if the body is too activated that there would be distress or flooding, rather than grounding or anchoring, we can place the mind simply in sound. See which one is available to you. Finding a place where we can rest the attention. And then breathing in and out from that felt sense. I'm opening to sounds. We could use this as an example, but sensations would be just as workable. Can I rest in the spaciousness? In the boundlessness in which all sounds arise and fall away. And can I feel the boundless nature of that space? In front and behind, left and right, above and below. Resting in space, we then open to sound. And can we then greet every sound with ease? We soften the body. We tune the ears. And we rest back first in silence. With each breath, we make contact with whatever sound is arising. With each out breath, we simply allow it to fade as it will. Peace is every sound. Sounds we like or sounds we don't, it's not actually the point. Can we simply hear? I touch my ears. I am grateful for hearing. And I smile at all sounds. Breathing in, I am hearing. Breathing out, I rest in silence. Peace is the ease of mind, the calm, abiding, the openness, the receptivity, the inclusiveness that we bring to each sound. And then if it's comfortable for you, you can either choose to remain in that hearing. Peace is every sound, or you can begin to incline the mind towards the awareness of the body breathing. Seeing if you can find a place or a space where you can touch the awareness of the breath as it is arising and passing. Held, each breath held in vast open space. coming from that space and returning to that space. Not really just yours at all. Breathing in, I am mindful. I am present. I am awake. Breathing out, I am peaceful. I merge back into contact with all things. I dissolve into interconnection and interbeing. Wakeful. Peaceful. Breathing in, I am a flower blooming in spring, fresh and new. Breathing out, I remember I am a part of a whole. Never to be separated, never to be alone. And in these two truths, I rest. I am fresh like a flower. And a part of all things. Can we feel that truth? Each moment is new, and you are new in it. Breathing in, I am solid like a mountain. Breathing out, I endure all change. I rest in heart-mind stability. Unshakable, imperturbable, abiding all change. As I breathe in, I flow like a river. As I breathe out, I flow back into the ocean of awareness. I am the wave and the ocean. Breathing in, I am a cloud. Floating, porous, vaporous. Ever changing. Breathing out, I am the sky, in which all clouds come and go. Breathing in, I am calm. Breathing out, I am peace with every breath. Holding all things and all beings. Always available. This one breath. Where does that sense of peace reside in your own body? Breathe there. inclining the mind, then every breath towards peace. And may we all have peace. May we all be peace. May there be peace. Peace in every breath. And then it's always important, at least for a moment, to look at what obscures. What is the hindrance, we say? What is the obscuration that gets in the way of this always available, always abiding, ever present possibility for peace? What is it?
Everything that can bring us peace can also disturb our peace.
Everything that can bring us peace can also disturb our peace. Can you give us an example?
Like sound.
Like
It can
sound.
bring us peace or it could distract our peace.
Can it?
Well, our mind.
Yeah, it's not the sound. Sounds we like or sounds we don't like. Sound has nothing to do with our peace. And won't there always be sounds we like or sounds we don't? Situations we like or situations we don't? People we like, people we don't. Cake I like, chocolate I like, raisins I don't. Right? So where is the peace? Since it's never in the thing. It's never in the thing. And it is not apart from peace.
It's a matter of allowing something to take the peace away. You have to allow.
You have to get caught. Yeah. I allow is a big word because we probably wouldn't really allow, right? Like it wouldn't be like, come on in, demons. And we would be unskillful, or we would be caught in a habit that accidentally proliferated, right? Demon food, fodder, whatever we're doing. But allow would be big. I want us to be careful because I don't want us to demonize our own habit natures. And they are there. We do get caught. We do get wrapped around sounds we don't like, well more this brainstem than sounds we like. As we know, by 17 times more likely to get wrapped around a sound you don't enjoy. Why? Training. Brainstem's training says better, right, to see the tiger than the rose. Right? Makes sense. Survival helps us. But we can train for equanimity. We can train to open again and again to the whole, right? To the joys and the sorrows, to the birth and the death, to the things I like and the things I don't like. And that will be beyond, that's called attending, practicing beyond this brainstem's fighting, flighting nature, wouldn't it be? We'd have to practice then abiding towards what? The very thing that I have a little propensity to reject, the very thing I didn't want, the sounds of the gravel, the very, right? Oh, the birds, yay, gravel, not so much. Is there anything inherently in gravel that makes it less wonderful than birdsong? There's nothing inherent to the gravel. So what is it?
It's our judgment and perception.
It's our first recognizing our resistance, our contraction, our not wanting. We have to begin there. See, we like the idea of just releasing, but we're not capable. We actually don't have quite that It is an ultimate truth. We do, don't we? And then, but not before. In fact, my teacher, Joko, said, you cannot say goodbye to anything you did not first say hello to. Isn't that useful? Like, oh. Even like I can't lock it out. I can't bolt the door. I can't move away. I can't, right? And what's the answer? No. Because what? It is there. It isn't just that sound. It's all sounds you would just don't have a preference for, right? Our discrimination, our prejudice, our bias steps in, and we buy into it, don't we? Good sounds, bad sounds, don't we? Good people, bad people. We do it. You saw me go chocolate cake, raisins. Is it true? It's not true. Is it? There's nothing about gravel, raisins, that neighbor who's very picky about the fence. Right. She's not the problem. She's not the problem. The problem is I don't want a picky neighbor, is actually the problem. I like people who are flexible, right? I like those people. But then you can buy in, can't we? We can buy in to the belief thought that people who are this are good and people who are that are bad. And now we start some problems. And it doesn't mean that people are skillful or kind, right? And it doesn't mean we are either, does it? Because somebody can be picky about a fence, I'll stay with my storyline, and I can be picky about that neighbor. Who wins? No one. right? And so where is peace? It's in holding, Ty said, isn't it? The whole, not just this, but that, not just the victim, but the perpetrator. Oh, brother, what? I don't like perpetrators. I'm better with victims. And beyond that, he said, we are all. Call me by my true names. I am both. And we are, aren't we? We are. And we don't like that. But where is peace? Peace is in the opening to include. Not only that, in another, we get all spiritual, don't we, when we do that? But to include it in where? Me. This quality, this wanting, this graspy, this clinger, this wanting it my way, this in me, he said. Right? Yeah. And that is the path to peace. Can you see how? Can't you? As I can open to the energy of my own anger, I can open to yours. As I can open to the energy of my own preferencing, my own wanting it a certain way, my own liking it the way I like it, I can now, with greater equanimity, ease, skill, and connectedness, open to yours. As I can tolerate my own rage and the energy of it in my own body, I can tolerate now yours. And then not only tolerate it, but what? Love it too. Yeah, love it too. Can't we? But not first, right? And we like the idea. Be forgiving, right? We say be loving, be, right? There's a kind of a tome frequently in some spiritual traditions, be that for the other, be it for the other. I love this. It's true, but not before you can tolerate your own distress, your own revulsion, your own rejection, your own refusal, not before then. And so peace is here. Can I abide, be with, hold, and then breathe with the energy of that discomfort? Because it is, isn't it? It's not always pleasant. It's not.
I found that doing what you're just saying, I heard the gravel at first, and then it just reminded me instantly of the mountains. How we used to go to these mines, and so I used it throughout the meditation to do that practice of coming back in, like hear it, then so would you call that shifting?
Yes. Well, it would be framing. I would see it differently or hold it differently, which I think can be a nice step to just being with it. Right? Can it?
Yes.
Remembering that the gravel is a mountain. And it, in fact, it is. And the rain is the ocean, and the right. And remembering the part, and then in its whole, is often a way to be able to hold those parts without resistance, rejection, isn't remembering. So then we can hold our favorite politician or our least favorite one in the truth of humanness. Because we in fact know it, don't we? We know rage, we know prejudice, we know bias, we do. And it's always easier for me to go, if only you could be better, I could love you. If you could just get better, right? And that's not actually where love ever comes from, is it? It is never that. There's, in fact, no possibility for love there. It isn't because you finally got it your way or that person became your at all. It's because something in you transformed, opened, shifted, included. And we begin where first here with ourselves. It isn't if I could only do it there then. Right? Do we know? I hope we do. What does Zoom folks have to say? What do you know about this? Anyone? Right? You know it too, right? And then, so how was that practice? Right? Could you feel the access to peace by touching into the truth of those qualities? Those are qualities in you. They're not just qualities in nature, though nature is an invitation to remember, right? Oh, just like I'm a part of this. I am this spaciousness. I am this solidity. I am this flow, right? I am all of this.
Hey, Dee, I have a
Good morning.
good morning. I don't know if this is connected, but I understand the meditation and the teachings. However, how can we hold space for that? Loving like a politician that I really don't love. But how can we also erect boundaries? How does that fit in, like with people? Accepting and seeing ourselves in them and them in us, but
Yes.
also holding boundaries.
Yes. Well, because with that knowledge, with that understanding, with that clarity of mind, I know what that rage is. That's fear, let's say, for example, and knowing my own fear and knowing it's out of control nature, right? Like when I am in that level of fear, I am not whole brained at all. I am literally impulse driven, fight or flight driven. My wise mind is gone. That's mine. How could I act then skillfully with you? Well, very much so, couldn't I? I could say, I'm going to stand over here, tiger, while you're hungry. Wouldn't I?
Mhm.
You wouldn't do it out of care for us both. It isn't an either or at all anymore. It's like, no, wait, I see this for its clarity. I know this out of control capacity of rage or anger or deficiency or insecurity or hunger or whatever is happening. And so I will not, with wisdom and compassion, cause harm to either of us. Actually, would I? I wouldn't put myself then or you in a situation you could not manage. That would not be kind, would it? Wouldn't be kind. I'll use little man here, Graciela. He is just learning how to be okay in a space with lots of people, right? With supports, right? So he's sitting here in my lap and I have him covered. But if I was just going to go, just run around and we'll hope it's all okay for you, that's not right for the dog, right? The boundary is the dog can be okay with some pressure, with some support, right? Learning, growing. This is a boundary, loving boundary. Wouldn't we do that for any being? Wouldn't you? You would. You'd say, wait a minute, you're not able to handle this. We're going to create an environment, a space, and a way of being with you that you can be okay with. That's still less a boundary. Loving boundary, right? And couldn't they all be loving? I really know you're not okay. You're not okay. So I'm not going to demand or expect that you be okay or wish you were okay or pretend like you were okay. Would not be skillful. It wouldn't be loving. It wouldn't be compassionate. It wouldn't be kind. I can actually acknowledge you're not okay and then be more skillful and of benefit, couldn't I? So I don't go out at 3 a.m. along 3rd Street in the middle of the night where I know that there are people who are dealing drugs and using drugs and right. I don't do that. And if I were a first responder, let's say, I might do so lovingly. Wouldn't I say, I am going to go. It is appropriate. I have the conditions for this. This is a contribution I can make. Given my skill level, my best is to stay away from there at 3 a.m. Can't they all be loving? They could. Right? You remember that story, we've told it 100,000 times about Sharon Salzberg, right? Yeah. And Sharon is in a rickshaw and she gets accosted in the rickshaw in India on the way to her teacher. And she, in her desire to be compassionate, loving, and skillful, does nothing. And so is assaulted and robbed by this person and gets to her teacher, Deepa Ma, who was a beautiful, loving teacher. And Deepa Ma says, well, what did you do in this difficult moment? And she says, I did nothing to be loving. I wanted to be loving and kind. This was Sharon's practice and is today her practice. And Deepa Ma said, no, with all the loving kindness in your heart, you should have beat the man about the head. Right? So we have these ideas, don't we? That love is passive or love is, right, and yes, with all the loving kindness in your heart. But this is tricky business. It's easy to beat someone about the head. That's no trick at all. In fact, brainstem might go right there. But out of the care for you, out of love for you, out of desire to save you, your karma, your, right, the consequence of this for you, I will stop you to the extent that I can with loving presence.
It's loving towards the attacker.
It is. It's kinder to stop them.
To stop them.
Yes, kinder to stop them. This is a hard idea. Yeah. The Dalai Lama himself says what? What would you do with the bomber in the arena? If they were there because you believe in peace. And he says, I would take the best shot I could to stop them and cause least harm. That's what I would do. Oh, cause least harm. That's the peaceable action, right? And then we get all mixed up because we have these ideas. Well, that doesn't look like a shot. That means you walk up and hug the person and then potentially threaten you both. You get what I'm saying, Graciela? Caring,
yes.
caring,
Yes.
caring for the other, caring for yourself. And we don't always, because we're othering all the time or selfing all the time, we can't find the space. We're like, well, it's you or me. Right?
Mhm.
Baby.
I
I'm picking me. Right. So
yeah.
for you.
I think what happened recently is someone has been quite negative this year and at work.
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything. And then this person came into my room and said something in front of others.
Yeah.
And I didn't yell, but I yelled in the sense that if you saw my face, my stance, and yes, my voice was it was not mellow.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, no more, get out.
Mm-hmm.
Get out right now. So I don't know, I guess I did not, I was kind of shocked at my response, the way my body responded.
Yes.
And I did not necessarily like that because
Right.
I was angry. I got to an angry point.
Yes. You crossed over, your boundaries were crossed over by you well before.
Yes.
You were experiencing distress and not attending. So that enough could have happened well before that, likely with more responsiveness, more wholeheartedness, less reactivity, had you set that boundary at the 50-yard line and not waited till they scored the touchdown and then gone, fuck you.
Yeah.
Right. And we're all going to get there. Right. And we all think, ignore it, just pass by it. It's okay. I'm all right. But it's not always true. So you have to be careful, don't you? Because it might have been easier to say, you know, I'm noticing something's up with you. I want to check in on that. Right. Because I can feel this distress. And what's going on would be an option, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I think that I had done it a little differently, like
Yeah,
in
there's no one.
meetings. I
Yeah.
would say, okay, well, let's start with 2 positives and then 2 things that need improvement.
Yeah.
So I was trying to model
Right.
that, but anyhow.
Yeah, but
Okay,
you get
thank
this idea. The concept I use in my own mind is this: enough. Wait a minute. I'm already loaded. I'm already overwhelmed. I'm starting to get flooded. And I really listen well to that. And if that's true, then I first attend to that and then go, what might I offer if that's appropriate? Right. And it might or might not be. And there's no one way anyway. There could be infinite positive ways.
Yeah, thank you, Diana.
You're so welcome. We're already after 9 o'clock. I don't want to keep us longer. Are there any, yeah, before we go?
Well, I was just thinking it's really about wise action
Yes,
from a place of equanimity,
that's right.
which is way huge.
Way huge,
It's really hard to find that.
way huge. I will say that the wise mind knows where it is as well as it knows where it isn't. And so equanimity begins there. I am not in an equanimous state.
Not resourced.
Not sufficient, not okay. How wise is that? That's wisdom arising. I am not capable right now. I should not speak now. I am really in reaction, said Graciela. How wise is that? It would not be best for me to speak here or act from this energy. Wisdom, wisdom, wisdom. And then with compassion for oneself and the whole of the world, we do nothing except attend to that energy in us. Right? How skillful is that? Oh my gosh. Peaceful world right there. Peaceful. A peaceable world. I'm not going to just spray that. I'm not going to, and I'm not going to blame me for my experience. It's already here. I'm going to turn towards it. I'm going to see how I can hold it, soothe it, attend, care. And then from that place of equanimity, that's what will be its result. Be peace. I will be peace, whatever that looks like. All right, let's sit together for just a moment. We'll offer our dedication. We breathe out, just resting for a moment back in the softened body. Igniting the heart of bodhicitta, that which cares for me, for you, and on, till those wide open arms include all beings and all things. May we offer the benefits, the blessings, and the merits of this practice with peace today and all peace and all care throughout all time. May we gather it here from the three directions of past, present, and future. And may we offer it to ourselves, to our loved ones, to those who are hungry, lonely, fearful, rageful. And may we continue on this path until all beings are awakened and free. May we all be happy and have the causes for happiness. May we all be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May we abide all things, including barking dogs, with peace, cawing crows, may we be peace. And may this practice be of benefit, and may it continue. So be it. Thank you all. Thank you for your practice, your presence, and your peace. And your peace. Thank you.